Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? How's it going, man?
Bro, I'm pissed off.
How's it going, man? Welcome to the Straight Up and R&D podcast. Number one rule on this podcast is we don't give a fuck about your feelings. We're gonna give it to you real, raw, uncut, straight up, with opinions based on motherfucking facts. Okay, and today, we have a lot of stuff to say in this segment. So this is going to be a segment episode because there's just so much that needs to be said of the political climate that's happening right now.
Yeah.
On both sides, on the Republican side and the Democratic side.
We're going to keep it fair today.
All right. We always keep it fair.
We always keep it fair.
I feel like the people who see the videos, they only focus on one part and they don't focus on the rest of the video. So we always out both sides, and a lot of people decide to pick only on one. But for this particular side, we're going to say the Democratic side, the Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris, the vice president, this current vice president, has some very interesting economic policies that don't make any sense. But where's my manners? I'm your host, Rich.
I'm D.
And we're gonna get right into it. So yes, Kamala Harris's economic policies.
Bro,
what do you think about them? What do you think?
Listen, bro. Before I even get into that, too, the thing about the left and Democratic side and just socialists in general, they say a lot of word salad just to make the public feel good. We're giving this away. We're going to give that away. You getting free money here, there, and there, but where's that shit coming from and how that's going to affect the country as a whole? For instance, Andrew Yang. Remember when Andrew Yang was running for president? He wanted to give people $2,000 like a month. Mm-hmm. Now, it was so long ago, I can't remember.
I think it was 1,000.
It was 1,000?
Yeah, it was 1,000.
He wanted to give people $1,000 a month. Sounds good, right? Oh my goodness, $1,000 a month.
Free money.
Yeah. But I'm like, that shit is not gonna get passed by Congress because I'm like, that will bankrupt the fucking country. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they say a lot of shit that just sounds good so they could get your vote. Now, when they actually in office, they know that shit ain't gonna pass. They know that shit is not gonna pass with Congress. But they saying it to the misinformed voters because they don't know how the political system actually works, so they can get your vote. So Kamala now, she talked about a few things. One, we could break it down part by part. First part, $25,000 for first-time home buyers. And then she's also going to build like 3 million new homes. Now, bro, I want you to start off with this first. Because we was talking off camera.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit too much off camera. I was like, yo, we got to get this on the pod.
Yeah, because I was talking like we was recording. What do you think about that policy for it? She's going to give everybody $25,000 for first-time home buyers for down payment. What do you think about that, bro?
I think it's absolute bullshit. And I looked into it. So it's $25,000 for people who make less than a certain amount of money. And I think there's like 2 other requirements, but you have to qualify for it. You don't just automatically get it. So if there's a lot of stipulations behind getting that $25,000, wouldn't you say that person can't afford to buy a house, right? And let's just be realistic.
If I'm a seller, what I'm going to do?
If you're selling a house and you hear, oh, the government's giving people $25,000 for first-time new home buyers that are below a certain income, right? You're obviously going to raise your house value
that shit up
by $25,000, right? Because you're in the business of making money, right? We live in a capitalist country.
Exactly.
And everybody's in the business of making money. Nobody's in the business of just trying to help from the grace of their heart. Not even the church. Okay. That's just the truth. That's just the truth.
We got several videos on that.
Okay. So they're going to raise the price on the house. Now let's say I'm somebody who meet the requirements and I get the 25,000. I go to you and I buy the house. You're gonna upcharge me $25,000.
And nothing you can do about it.
Right? Okay, so I get the loan, I get everything. But what about the fucking interest rate? It's still fucking 8%, 7%. Like,
how are those people going to be able to
how are they going to afford that shit?
Exactly. Afford that mortgage over time. And then there's a lot of upkeep that comes with owning a house. So now not only you have to plan month after month to paying your mortgage, what if the water heater goes out? What if the goddamn boiler goes out? You need to change, God forbid, your roof. That's thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah. But I know a guy, though. I know a guy.
So it's so like you're putting these people, it's like, look, it sounds good. But long term, you're setting them up for failure. Because say for instance, like what type of jobs these people are going to have? Like fast food workers or
yeah, you know, working at Shake Shack or Chick-fil-A.
You think that job is going to be able to hold them up long term for like owning a house? Because like let's say if a regular person goes to the bank to qualify for a loan, they're looking at your income and looking at everything to make sure you can afford that house and be able to pay that loan back. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're targeting this certain group of people and you upcharge them $25,000, like what's the likelihood of them paying that over 30 years fixed mortgage? 30 years.
Right.
So I think you're setting people up for failure. And again, where are the neighborhoods going to be? New York?
Definitely not.
New York, where the property taxes keep going up. And that could also happen too. So now you might say, okay, this is my mortgage. Here comes the city. We're raising your property taxes. And that happens. Ask them motherfuckers out in Long Island.
It happens.
Ask some people out in Long Island that every year have to fight because their property taxes keep going up. So what's Kamala going to do then? What's Kamala going to do then? Nothing.
She ain't going to do shit. And like my thing is you're like first of all, what house? Because again, you got to make a certain amount of money for the assistance, and you got to be a first generation home buyer, right? So yeah, it kind of knocks down the requirements of the people who can get qualified, but you think about like, okay, you think about that and it's like, okay, where do most of these people live? Okay. And then you think about the state of the housing market right now. We know it's inflated. We know it's like overpriced, right? So even if the person gets qualified, can they even get qualified for the house that they're looking for?
Exactly.
What? As if it's $300,000, would they still be qualified based on the salary that they make? And these maybe people in lower income brackets, you know, maybe barely at middle class or just at the bar of middle class, and they never own a home. It's like, how does that help them? Because you're telling them, oh, you can get a house, and then boom, they go get the house and default on their loan.
I feel like you will have to put those type of people in a program to say like, look, okay, you qualify for the $25,000, but we may have to help you to save money in terms of if something happens to the house, you need to have a certain amount of money put aside. We need to help get your credit fixed. You have to do a lot for these people just so they're able to succeed. Don't just give them the $25,000 and get in a house and then what? Like, I think that's setting them up for failure in the long run. So, another thing that she's unveiled is that she's want to attack price gouging. Basically, in simple terms, she wants to like put a price cap on prices, you know, a price cap on like grocery stores on how much they're able to charge. Now, again, it sounds good.
Yeah, like it does sound good.
It sounds good. It's like, oh, okay, now groceries could be affordable again, or they can't go past a certain price. But in my head, and listen, I'm not studying economics every day, but I'm just like, that sounds like a terrible idea. Why? Let me explain it like this. Let me use a pack of cookies, for example. Say I'm a grocery store owner, right? Kamala Harris said, I cannot charge past $5 for these pack of cookies. But it cost me $4 and some change to import it into the store. I only have $1 profit now. That's not enough for me to keep importing those goods, and that's not enough profit for me to keep my employees, to keep these cookies coming in. And you also have other bills in the grocery stores, right? So what are you gonna do as a business owner? Fuck it, I'm not having those cookies come in. Or if I want to keep having those expensive ass cookies coming in, I'm gonna have to fire some staff or cut back on other things.
All the things, yeah.
So I can keep having that product come in. Or I might have call up these might call them up and be like, yo, I still want those cookies. Cut some corners here and there, cut the quality of them. So I can keep coming, so they can keep coming in. Or you might even create a black market. You might create a black market and have people have other means to shop.
The other means to find cookies.
But that's just an example. So I'm like, you're not really attacking the problem at hand of inflation.
You're not. You're creating it and making it even worse.
You're making it worse. So I'm like, why don't you attack the actual problem that, you know, your administration is, you know, responsible for, instead of blaming grocery store owners and, you know, some other large corporations, whatever. But instead of blaming grocery store owners, saying, "Oh, you're charging too much." Why are they charging? Let's ask that question. Why are groceries so expensive?
The inflation. But you know that also creates a trickle down effect to because remember, you're buying the cookies from a wholesaler or the manufacturer, or the company that makes the cookies, right? If they know there's a price cap on their product, they're gonna have to start cutting back.
Yes.
So maybe they won't be able to distribute as much cookies. They won't be able to bake as much cookies or make the goods and distribute it out, because now their profit is at a bar. They're saying, the government is literally saying, you can only make this amount of money on this.
Yeah, it creates scarcity.
Look at cars. You think they could ever do some sort of price gouging on a car? There's so many different cars, costs all different type of prices, right? But they can't do that to them. So why would you do that on the food? Everything is supply and demand. If everybody's trying to buy a bunch of cookies for some reason, I don't know, it's like some whatever cookie becomes the most famous, tastiest cookie, right? Supply and demand. Like you can only have so much supply. Now you're looking at not only your supply and demand, but your profit margin.
Exactly.
Right? You're saying,
grocery stores usually don't have high profit margins though.
Exactly. They don't. You know, so it's crazy. They actually did that in another country. I think it was in France or some European country, where they tried to put a price cap on the goods or certain things that farmers were making, right? And all the farmers came out and said, okay, they banded together and they went to every town and sprayed the horse manure or the cow manure in front of the town.
Oh shit!
And then the government went and it was like, okay, we're gonna undo that. We're gonna cancel that bill. We're gonna get rid of that. And then the farmers are happy because they're like, yo, you can't put a cap on how much money I can make for certain things. Certain seasons, everything has a season. Winter, they may make less on this product. Summertime, they may make more on this product. Like, how are you gonna limit how much money I can take in? You know, you don't understand how I run my farm, how I run my business. I have people to pay. You know, like now I'm like, how can I lay off people now?
Yep.
That's people's lives. That's people's family. They got mouths to feed, right? They got bills to pay. Exactly. Everything is expensive. So
it's expensive. What
she's doing doesn't help, right? And like you mentioned earlier, she should definitely create an actual program instead of just giving away money to say, hey, if you don't make a lot and you've never bought a house before, boom, here's $25,000. Or, oh, this place is making a little bit too much money. Or I mean, Milk is too high. It's at $5 now. We're gonna make a cap at $4. It's that high for a reason because of the inflation.
That's what I'm saying.
Lower the inflation, and then you'll see prices go down. That's how it works.
That's how.
And I don't study econ, but common sense will tell you that. Common sense tells you that.
Just going to ruin so many local businesses, and you're going to affect people's jobs. Like people getting laid off left and right already.
Yeah, and already people getting laid off. Already.
So I don't understand. You know what this also remind me of too? Of like how I'm not even sure if it passed in New York, but basically they want to put a cap on rent, right? Mm-hmm. They want to put a cap on how much a landlord could charge for rent, so it could be fair for people who's looking for apartments. Mm-hmm. But if you do that, are you also not going to keep raising property taxes for landlords? Because if you keep raising property taxes and then putting a cap on rent, how is that mortgage supposed to get paid? Majority, I'm not saying that they're not greedy landlords out there.
Oh, you're making me want to get on to Eric Adams.
Yo, we could get on Eric Adams, but I'm not saying there's not greedy landlords out there.
There is,
but a lot of the landlords, they raise rents because property taxes keep going up, and they have to raise the rent so they could be able to pay that mortgage. You put a cap on it, property taxes are going up. You just want you probably that landlord probably going to have to let that house go into foreclosure at some point because they can't keep it up. So it's just when I see this done, if that passes, if Kamala go into office, I just don't see any good coming out of that. Again, it sounds good. Free $25,000, yay! Free this, yay!
How about you get rid of fucking student loans? Say some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Get rid of that from me.
Well, shit, we don't know.
Fuck all that other shit. fuck $25,000 for. Give me $25,000 to pay off the student loans. Give me that. Give me that, Kamala. That's what people need. That's what the younger voters want. If that's what you're trying to capture, you know what I mean. Just get rid of the student loans. You know what I mean. Biden couldn't do it. You try to do it. Say some shit about that.
Yeah, say like we're going to continue to fight.
Yeah,
for student loans. You know, I feel like that would resonate more with the younger crowd because I think some people did get their student loans forgiven.
Look, the people that got their shit forgiven, they were like scammed or their whole situation was messed up with their bursar and the school didn't, have good practices and all that other stuff. Like, yo, inflation is crazy. We went through a pandemic. You know what I mean? You had people running around getting PPP loans, running around getting all this damn money, and everybody else was trying to struggle. People were getting laid off from their jobs. People were trying to get back. Then you have increase in rent, increase in all these prices, increase in groceries. It's like, how is somebody supposed to afford their student loans during all of this? At least they promised the $25,000. Biden promised a $10,000 or $25,000. Why didn't he just give it? Just as easy as she's quick to and ready to give somebody $25,000 to buy a damn house with the interest rate at 8%. Mm-hmm. Like, what sense does that make? How about no interest on the student loans? How about that? Give us something. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, so, I'm predicting, DNC starting this week. She's going to unveil more of her policies. Let's see what else. See what else she's going to do. But yeah, man, like Kamala, I just don't know, yo. Like
I don't know either. I really don't know. I really don't know. The media, like you said, is protecting her.
Yeah, let's get into that now.
Like
the media is, you know what really pisses me off, bro? Because look, this is the pissed off rant. You have somebody running for the leader of the free world. If Kamala is elected, bro, she has to go and sit down across the table from people like Vladimir Putin,
Kim Jong-un.
Exactly. The strong
President Xi.
She has to go in the room.
Hamas.
You see what I'm saying?
Like this is a big dogs. You know what I mean? You know.
These are the big dogs that you had to sit down in the room across from. And you're telling me you can't even go and hold a press conference, go in front of media outlets, host you and your running mate doing interviews. Say what you want about Trump and Vance, bro. They're on every media outlet. They're getting in front of the American people at every chance they get. And not only on Fox. I saw JD Vance on CNN.
Yeah,
MSNBC.
He did an interview with them, yeah.
He's out here talking to both sides of the political spectrum. He's talking to Republicans, Democrats. He wants to get in front of Americans to be like, to really show them this is what the Trump campaign is going to do to make your lives better. Trump's sitting down with Aiden Ross, Elon Musk, goddamn NABJ. I saw him in an interview with Fox, but he's going everywhere. He was in the Bronx.
Yeah.
He is going everywhere. Kamala, bro, she's nowhere. And I'm like, why isn't the media forcing her or putting some fire up in the back of her saying like, yo, we need the person who's running for president to sit down with us and to talk in front and talk to the American people.
Yeah.
If you can't talk to the American people, how are you going to sit down across the table from those leaders?
But you see, that's the thing. They're playing that game where it's like, all right, we're gonna try to use as much time as we can to shield you from the media or shield you from actual journalists and real questions until we get closer and closer to election day. You may do one or two and they can be like very short. Like, I think that's their game plan. And I don't like it, you know, because again, people who are going to be voting for this want to actually really know her policies, be able to see if she can be challenged on her policies. Because, you know, sometimes a journalist or a news reporter will ask, well, if you plan to do this, blah, 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 is going to happen. What about this? What about that? I don't think she's ready for that. You know what I mean? I don't think she's ready for that type of pressure because she folds. Every time she's speaking to people is behind a teleprompter.
Yes.
Right?
Rehearsed goddamn notes.
It's rehearsed notes. You know, I just watched the video with her talking to some high school football kids, her and Waltz.
Waltz, yeah.
They were, you know, he was like a teacher and all that, a coach and all of that. And, you know, they're talking to them. And I'm like, yo, and again, all I said was football. What race of people predominantly plays football?
I don't think it's a secret.
Okay, we all fucking know, right?
We all know.
I'm
Turn
like,
on the goddamn NFL, you gonna see.
I'm like, before you fucking tell these kids, hey, you know, being an athlete is not the only way to be successful. Being an athlete is not the only way to be a leader, right? Also, you know, have other avenues. Every damn kid, it was like maybe like 30 of those kids in there. All of them want to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? But are all 30 going to make it? No. So the ones that the 28 of them that don't make it, right? What are they going to do?
What's your message to them?
What's your message to those kids? What are your message to the kids that get injured and their career, their athletic career is done? Then what? What are they supposed to do? How about you like actually tell them about real life shit that, hey, you know, be a scientist, be a biologist, and also play sports. And if the sports work out for you, it works. And if it doesn't, you have an education. You know, these kids are just gonna get through college playing football the whole time. And if they don't get drafted, then that's the end of their whole shit.
Shit, some of them might not even make it out. It takes one injury.
That's all, you're one injury away from being done. Like, your career is over. You see what I'm saying? So she's not speaking from her heart. She's speaking from what her handler is or the people who are coaching her to say. Oh, say this, say that. Say like this, say like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, here's the teleprompter. Just read off the teleprompter. We're going to rehearse the intro, rehearse everything. Like, I'm not saying that she shouldn't have anything rehearsed, but if you want to be genuine to the people who, you want to vote for you, tell them the truth.
Tell them the truth.
Because right now, everybody's is like blind. They just like, okay, finally someone other than Trump, like, we're going to vote for her. And
yeah, that's how it is.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel like this election is someone other than Trump.
For voting for Kamala is because they don't like Trump. And to me, I think that's not a valid enough argument if you're looking for somebody, if you're looking to vote for somebody to be the leader of this country. You got to be able to put your emotions aside and be like, all right, who is actually the one fit enough to run the country? And it can't be because I don't like Trump. It can't be that. And I think that's a very immature response. Very immature response. And that's why I say the media kind of attacks these uninformed voters by protecting Kamala and just want to just spew over everything bad Donald Trump is saying, or say, oh, Donald Trump is such a bad person, blah, blah, blah. And that's what swing these uninformed voters into voting for Kamala. Because people who just uninformed, they just want to turn on the news, see like, oh, okay, what's going on? Oh, Trump said this, Trump said that. When there's a whole bunch of propaganda on there, and then they're just going to vote for Kamala. It is work, but I'm not going to hold you. It's working. It is working.
Hey, you can't be mad at the strategy. That's just what they.
The strategy is working.
The strategy is working, but I feel like sooner or later people are going to start waking up and realize that this is actually bullshit that she's doing.
Yeah, and I was like,
I think the debate people are going to realize.
Oh, because the debate is free for all now. It's like, all right, you could go in there with some rehearsed shit. Like, you could prepare for certain questions of what they might ask, right? She probably got her team like, all right, they may ask these sorts of questions. They're going to get, prepared for how they're going to, what they're going to ask for. But when you're going to get somebody like Trump, Trump is a master of like going off the grid.
Oh yeah, he's just going to go left.
Yeah.
They like, she can't prepare for some of the shit that he's going to say.
Yeah, because you don't know.
Yeah, he could just go off on like something and you'd be like, what?
And then he has a type of aura and energy that when you're debating against him, you're going to have to match it if you want to beat him. Because, I'm not saying she's Biden. Obviously, she's not. But you can see in that first debate how Biden wasn't able to match Trump, debate style. And it destroyed him. You know what I mean? It destroyed him. And even the debate a few years ago, when Biden won, it was the first debate they had. People said it was bad because, they were just arguing back and forth. But I could tell you Biden was not prepared for that. Trump went in there he went in there and just started going off. So I'm like, if you're going against somebody like Trump and he's going to go left, he's going to bring the energy. Why are you, if you're going to get somebody like that, why are you not at least practicing, going to some interviews to go off script? Because he's going off script. He can legit go on a rally and just speak from his heart.
Yeah, I mean, I watched some of his rallies. He's just going off on
He's just going
shit.
off.
It was just like, hey, at least there's that free mind thinking that he's doing. But I don't know. I don't think she's ready for the pressure. Look, again, I'm not trying to pick sides. I know we're bashing Kamala right now, but the only reason why we're saying these things is because she has not faced the media. She has not been in the hot seat. She has been avoiding all of the hot, hard, pressing questions that people want to know the answers to. And she's got to get herself in that hot seat. If she just keeps avoiding the media and reading on teleprompters and making everybody inside the rally cheer and be like, yeah, but nobody's contesting her, like you said earlier, how do you handle that when you're dealing with other world leaders? How do you handle that?
But you're going to tell them, oh, I can't come up.
What are you going to know? You're going to say, oh, let me read off a teleprompter. Where's the teleprompter? So can somebody tell me what to tell them?
How about even showing up? You ain't showing up now.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You know what I think too, bro? Because I know we got this shit to talk about. But what I think what they're doing Because remember, she tried to run for president before. She didn't get through the primaries. She was so bad.
She got, and she's known as a flip flopper too. A lot of the policies she flipped on, she changed and all that.
Yeah, she's known as a flip flopper. But she was so bad when they were asking her hard hitting questions about, what she wanted to do if she became president, blah blah blah. That she scored so low, nobody even voted for her. She didn't get past the primary. Basically, nobody wanted her. Mm-hmm. And I think she had done so bad with the media in the past and with their line of questioning. They're like, all right, let's not get her in front of the camera right now. Because I honestly think they're trying to train her for the media in the background. And just because they already have the media on her side, it's so they're like, we can get away with her not answering questions because she's just not good. They're riding this honeymoon wave. It's a honeymoon wave right now, a honeymoon phase right now with Kamala, just because Biden dropped out. Mm-hmm. They're gonna ride this bitch as far as they can ride it. It might ride it to election because the election is right there, bro. We about to hit September.
Yeah. And they have early voting in some states.
Yeah, early voting is coming up.
I think I don't know. I just feel like everything was planned in a very strategic way of Biden dropping out with this amount of time left, and they saw Biden's numbers, hell no, you can't run. You know what I mean? And it's okay, who else are we going to get? Well, definitely ain't any of the other candidates. Just get his VP to run. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And she wants to get the glory and all of that. And that's cool and all. Who wouldn't want to be president? But I feel like they just don't want to tell her you're not ready. Look, I'm not saying she can't be a good president. And I'm not being biased or any of that. She's just not ready yet.
Yeah.
She needs more training. She needs more that authoritative figure that's strong.
But I don't think Biden was
I can answer any question. I can be in a hot seat. I can, these are my beliefs. I stand by them. And they're not gonna change. You know what I mean?
She's so protected right now, bro.
That, and I don't see that from her.
Gonna see her at the DNC around her homies, all the Democrats. She's gonna be at the debate, but she ain't sitting out for no damn interview, bro. And I don't know how the American people letting that slide. There should be an uproar from the people who want to vote for her.
Even the Palestine-Israel thing. What is her side? What is her stance on it? They're setting up a rally, a protest, a peaceful, let me say for the record, Palestinians are setting up a peaceful protest at the DNC.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yes, they're going to be doing that. They organized it, and they're going to do that. And my thing is, why don't you speak on that? Why don't you pick a side?
And
because you don't want to upset your voters. You see what I'm saying? It's okay, I know this is very controversial. I'm not going to say anything about it. Don't even mention it. President Netanyahu came to the U.S. Senate, to the House, said a speech, and the vice president, mind you, she's still the vice president of the United States, okay? She still has a job. She was not there for his speech. And this is her same president, the same President Biden, who's sending money over there to help them. Why wouldn't you at least show up for his speech? Put your campaign to the side. You see what I'm saying? Put your campaign to the side because you're still a VP. Mm-hmm. You're still a VP, and show up.
When people would say that too, people would give her to make the excuse of, well, she still has a day job, so she can't, she's too busy to do interviews and shit. Bro, I think she's going head on running for the president of the United States. It's all right, cool. You still the VP.
She ain't working as no VP right now.
Exactly. I don't believe that either. And plus, that's not even a valid excuse. That is not a valid excuse. You think Trump ain't busy? You think everybody else ain't busy? Make yourself available to the American people so they can hear what the hell you got to say. And talking about, I think that's a good segue into this. of what's going to be available at the DNC. Listen, y'all.
Wait, we got some dancing monkeys on the stage. We got some acrobats, some athletes dribbling on the ball.
Bro, I bet you there's gonna be more Megan Thee Stallions there.
We got some dudes throwing a football across the stage. Like, what do we got this time?
I am betting there's gonna be
a comedian. Is what's his name? Kevin Hart jumping on the stage.
Bro, I
like, what do we have now? What do we got?
So now they're also going to be having free abortions. And now free vasectomies.
Oh my goodness.
At the DNC. It's going to be some inflatable tent shit, whatever. It's going to be there free for all the people that's attending. Listen, y'all. I know this is a sensitive topic. I know this is a sensitive topic.
Go ahead, man. Say your shit. Say your shit. Straight Up and R&D podcast. Subscribe.
But it's just like, why? Like, why?
I mean, you don't need your balls. I mean, who needs it, right?
But like vasectomies, bro. It's like, all right, if they would have just said free abortions, I would like. No, wait, let me say this. It's like, all right, if you would have said free abortions.
Hold on. Planned Parenthood gotta make their bread, bro. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Because, like, what's Kamala campaigning? Reproductive rights for women. So if you would have just had free abortions, then it's like, all right, cool. I understand. That's what she's campaigning for. That's her biggest thing right now. Reproductive rights.
Free abortions. Oh man!
So, but now you got in free vasectomies now. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? To me, I'm like, there's got to be some type of agenda behind this, bro. It's like and it's in Chicago. It's in Chicago.
Say it again. Say it again.
It's
where?
in fucking Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, are you trying to do some type of population control, or you don't want the black people to populate? Like, what is really going on that you're just saying we just cutting shit off for everybody, male, female, nobody having children around here? Like, I'm just like, what's really going on?
Oh, you think you don't want kids? Just cut it off, man. Just cut it off.
And I'm just like, like, it's like, all right. And again, I could be misinformed. Y'all let me know. It's like, with abortions, I understand that there's certain exceptions for why women get abortions, like, rape and incest, or, it could affect the woman's health. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and there's some cases where it makes sense for them to have abortion. What's the case for a man to get a vasectomy?
Yeah, he's a hoe. That's the only reason. I don't know.
Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the case?
He either he's a hoe or he has too many baby mamas and they gotta like cut that number down. Like, I don't know. That's the only thing that I can think of.
So like, now I'm just thinking, like, are you just anti-family now? Is that the left's whole agenda? Like, we're so anti-family. We just don't want nobody to experience what it's like to raise a family, so we're just saying.
And what I find interesting is that they say, stats show that the birth rate is declining a lot in general, like especially within our generation and the generation after us. They're not having a lot of kids, and then we're finding more and more women are not able to have kids. So it's like, by pushing these type of agendas only makes the problem worse. It's not like the U.S. has an overpopulation issue. Exactly. We don't. Even though we have an immigration issue, but that's another story. But Americans, we don't have that overpopulation issue. I don't even believe there's a house shortage. There's not a house shortage. It's not like there's so many people buying houses and nobody can find a house to buy. There's skyscrapers in New York City that's empty.
Correct. I mean, you saw when the migrants came over, they just shut down a hotel in the city.
Yeah.
And housed all of them.
Yeah, so there's no shortage of houses. There's no shortage of none of that. But to push agendas like free abortion and free vasectomies, it's like, where is your mind going with this? Why do you find that to be important?
To me, that also promotes promiscuous behavior. I'm sorry. Because it's like, you're not holding people responsible. Bruh, the shit I want to say is so cancelable. But it's just like, again, there are certain exceptions for abortion. I agree with that.
Okay.
But why are we pushing this agenda that's so anti-family that it's just okay for people to just go sleep around, and just, especially with men with free vasectomy, or is that what you're pushing? Because to me, I feel like when a woman sleeps with a man, that's the ultimate form of submission. Mm-hmm. If a woman open her legs up and allow the man to go on her, that sounds crazy. But that's the ultimate form of submission.
Get it real detailed.
Because that act creates life. Uh-huh. Now, if you're trying to take that away from what sex is supposed to be, it's like you're just telling people it's okay to just go sleep around because there's no quote unquote consequences to what you're doing. Why are they pushing this anti-family agenda, which I just don't really, I'm not seeming to understand, what's going on. And, go ahead, bro.
I was just going to add, what is the age to get a vasectomy?
That's another good point.
Because I'm like, nowadays you could change your gender and do all that other stuff. I mean, to each his own. But you could be young, you could be 18, you could be 19, and you decide to get this, and it's like, okay, well, that young boy, he may not fully understand what he's doing, right? And, well, it's free. I want it. I want to run around and do whatever, and then, 2, 3, 5 years later, oh, I actually want a kid. I don't know how reversible that stuff is. Today's medicine technologies can probably reverse it. I don't know.
I feel like you can.
I haven't looked it up, but to go through to go through that period, it's like, why get to that point? Why not just be responsible?
And this is another point I want to push. I want to say too. This is what I was meaning to say. She's campaigning for women's reproductive rights, right? To me, I'm like, women always had the right to reproduce. They always had the right to, have children. But she's focusing solely on the side of abortion. What about the women? I feel like reproduction rights should also come into women who also want to have kids. What are policies that you're going to put in place for women that choose to have families? How is it really reproductive rights when you're focusing on the right to not have children? What about the women who choosing the right to have children? Are you putting anything for them? Are you speaking to them? Or are you solely speaking on the side of abortion and to not take away family?
So I think she's primarily speaking about getting rid of the family, meaning
that's what I'm saying.
Having an abortion. As far as having a child, I don't think there's she's saying, oh, don't have one, but she's indirectly saying,
but that's what I'm saying,
don't have one.
She's not speaking, or at least putting a policy is now if you choose to have the children, this is what I'm going to do for you also. We can help you, maybe
more child tax credits.
Okay, child tax credit. No, you're right.
I think she is doing that. I think they're giving an extra $3,000 for that. But that's something that the Trump campaign had said, right? Because the whole thing with J.D. Vance, he was saying, oh, if you don't have kids, you should pay more taxes. Mm-hmm. And they'll give more tax cuts or tax breaks or tax credits for people who have kids. So the Trump and J.D. Vance, they're trying to encourage people to have kids, while Kamala is encouraging people to get abortions. So it's like, why don't you level the playing field and say, okay, let's just say you want to have an abortion, you go ahead and do it. Don't run around and say it's free now. You see what I'm saying? Like now you're changing the message. It's not, okay, well, you have the right, your reproductive rights to choose what you want to do, but then to advertise it as, oh yeah, I'm gonna make it free and make it this and that is encouraging people to say, you know what, it's free. I can just get another one next week, or I can just keep getting them because it's free. You know, that's something that you can obviously abuse the system, right? And the only person that's going to be making money out of this is Planned Parenthood, which is the plan that they had from so many years ago when they started the whole company.
Exactly.
So it's like, who is really helping Black people and Hispanic people? Because we know they are the ones that are getting the most abortions.
That's facts.
Right?
That's facts.
We're going to state the facts. Black people are number one in getting abortions. Then you have the Hispanics. The whites are not having children as much, and they're trying to have more kids. Their population is decreasing. I'm not trying to create any racial disparity, but that's what the statistics are showing. You can Google it yourself. So it's like, why would you be pushing this type of stuff when you know the demographic of people that are doing it? And if she's gonna get up today and say that she's Black, she shouldn't be pushing something like that. So yeah, Kamala's Black now, but you can't be pushing that type of stuff. You can be like, that's the thing you should be quiet about. You know, you should say, okay, we're going to allow abortions on a federal level, right? You can say that. You can say that. I'm fine with that. You could do that. Reproductive rights for women, whatever. You could say that. But then don't run around and say, oh, it's free.
Yeah, say it's free. Having that shit at the DNC. And you know, this is
like, what does that say to an 18-year-old? You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I'm just walk in and get it free and walk out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
But yeah, so like, there's 2 points I want to bring up too. But I was thinking from the standpoint too, as this is a woman called Angela Stan. And she has a nonprofit organization called On Angie's House. Which meaning she knows that, I guess it's mainly for like, you know, like a lot of mothers who are worried about how they're going to provide for their kids and stuff like that are pregnant. She's like, look, you could come into this house. We can help you, you know, give you like medical services to have the kid or like, you know, resources, basically showing you that it's fine. We're going to help you along in birthing this baby. Like creating families, saying that it's fine. So I'm like, why wouldn't she like kind of like either fund a program like that that's so pro-family? Why won't she, you know, or, you know, fund a program like that or even start something like that? It's like, hey, she could say like, hey, you know, I'm for reproductive rights. You could have abortions, but also this is what I'm going to do. You got the child tax credit, you're right. What else I'm going to do? I could create programs or, you know, whatever, just to make sure that you're in a comfortable setting for having a child because you're on both sides. Now. Oh,
not to cut you, because she could also make a thing and say, okay, maybe you don't want to have an abortion, but you want to keep the kid. Like maybe you don't want to have an abortion, but you want to still deliver the kid.
Oh yeah.
But you don't want to be responsible for the kid. Set something up for that person.
Exactly. There are so many routes you can go. Many routes you can go. And the thing I don't even want to say about Trump, people keep saying that he's going to ban abortion. Well, he said multiple times he's just going to leave it up to the states. So he's not even like anti-abortion. He's like, listen, I'm going to just leave that up to the states. And what that does, you as the people can vote for it. So like if you have somebody running for governor, mayor, whatever in your state, and it's one party is for abortion, one party is not, you know, for abortion, you can vote who's in office and for that, you know, specific policy, just like how everybody's going to do for the national election. So I think that's a fair route to go.
Yeah, I mean, you know, leaving it up to the states, and every state is going to end up being different. But it kind of encourages people to go and vote locally, right?
Honestly, yeah.
For, you know, the things that they believe in. And it makes sense to an extent. But I don't know. I see Trump is kind of making the states deal with certain things on their own, giving the states a little bit more power on what
He did
they
that
want to
even
do.
with the pandemic too, though. I feel like he gave some of the states power of like, you do what you want to do. You govern your own states. I'm gonna let the governors govern their own state.
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
we drilled into Kamala a lot. We really did, we really did. And now it's time to flip it over onto the other side, right? Okay,
Yeah,
calm down, people. Calm down. We're getting to Trump now, okay? Calm down. But before we go to Trump, I got a video or a soundbite that I would like to play for y'all. It's a very interesting one, and I just wanna leave it to your discretion on what you think about it. Okay, here we go.
There is this wonderful word that has a great meaning, and it's called hypothesis, which means that you have an idea, and then it is well accepted, it will be tested, and then you will learn whether it was correct or not, but there will be no pride associated with the hypothesis, because after all, it was a hypothesis. Right. And then you will reconvene and then create a new hypothesis.
Right. Okay. I'm just going to leave it at that. So you guys heard what she said. Honestly, that's just the real deal word salad. Like, nobody knows what the hell she's saying. But look, if you're voting for this person, that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get press conferences where she's going to be faced with real questions. You're not going to get her in the hot seat because she's not ready for that. Okay? If somebody asked her Palestine or Israel, she's not going to be able to answer that. She's going to say Ukraine or Russia. She's not going to say anything. She's not going to say anything about any of that stuff. All right? So just keep that in mind. Now, let's go to Trump.
Hold on, one more thing before we go to Kamala. I forgot she did do the interview with her running mate. Did you see it, bro? They talking about fucking tacos. You didn't see it?
No.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but the beginning was them talking about tacos. Walt's talking about he eats white people tacos, and Kamala like
black people tacos.
Kamala's like, what's white people tacos? Oh, do you put flavor in it? He's like, no, I don't put no flavor in it. I'm like, what the fuck y'all talking about, bro?
Hey, that's you gotta attract the Hispanic voters now. How about tacos?
Yo, hold up. But go.
Man.
I want to be able to play that, bro, because like I'm like, is this what we talking about? This is what we talking about. This is what you're going to tell the American people.
What is that? Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
Pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No. Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, Like I have white guy tacos. And
So this is what we talking about. This is what the
white guy
American people want to hear.
tacos. Dang.
All right, I just had to let that go.
The Mexicans probably feel like disturbed. It's like gringo tacos. ¿Por qué?
So look, they got an interview of them just talking like to each other. Again, no hard hitting questions. It's them talking to each other. I'll watch it, but I saw that. I'm like, bro, what are we doing, bro? But anyway, go ahead, bro.
But anyways, let's flip it, like I said, to Trump now. So there was a video that was released. I think it was by CNN. And they had some undercover donors talking to one of Trump's former staff from when he was in office, when he was president. And this guy is he's one of those campaign managers, one of those people that kind of like advise the president and help them with their campaigns or help them focus on whatever mission that they wanted to achieve for the presidency, and give suggestions on how to get it done. And they had these two donors in there. Obviously, they have donors that are pretending that they're going to donate to their foundation, and you would see that the advisor, he's like literally talking some crazy ish talking about, Project 2025, Trump is well aware, he's well in line for what we're going to be doing, what our plan is, yada, yada, yada. So even though Trump has came out and denounced that he's not going to be going through with Project 2025, I know this is Project 2025 is like a big thing with this hedge fund or heritage fund that's going through with it, and their views are type extreme,
very extreme.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
Yeah, like it's fucking crazy,
yeah,
right?
Crazy.
And I know immunity for cops is in there too. I know that.
It definitely in there.
You know what I mean? And restricting the rights of certain black people, getting rid of certain things. And, it was kind of concerning to hear that, there are people in there that want to push these type of policies.
It's crazy, bro.
To fit whatever agenda or whatever they're trying to get across. And obviously it's very detrimental to minorities. I hate the word minorities, by the way. I hate the word minorities. But it to keep it in simple terms, for minorities where, it'll kind of like keep us at the bottom. Keep minorities at the bottom. And CNN and their private investigators had cameras in the room during the conversation and was able to hear everything. So I will leave that up to you guys. Just go on YouTube, go on your Facebooks. You guys know very well how to use search engines by now. And go and watch that full video. All right. Maybe I will post it inside of this segment. I don't want to get copyright strikes and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll link the link.
Up.
I'll leave the link. I'll leave the link in the description so you can go and check it out for yourself. But look, that all could be true, right? It could be true, right? It could be true. It could not be true. But, to hear something like that during an election year is not good news for anybody that's going to be voting for Trump.
That was so shocking, bro. I was telling you off camera, I don't know how this hasn't blown up even more. Because, listen, as much shit, I feel like we talk, we've been fair on Trump and Biden. If you watch the full fucking video, you can see.
Yeah, watch the fucking video.
Yeah, you will see. But Trump has said publicly, I'm not for Project 2025, right? That's what he has said publicly. Mm-hmm. But to see this video and this guy is like, basically this is what Trump is going to say publicly, but we're working behind the scenes of, we're actually going to implement these laws, these extreme ass laws and policies in place. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's not good. Because the thing that's really troubling to me, I mean, there's a lot of things in there that's troubling to me, but police immunity, bro, like all immunity to all cops, like, again, and I really wished, that's why I really have a problem with that NBJ interview, because they didn't drill him on like certain, they did ask that question, but I feel like they should have drilled him even more.
On it, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, if we already know, like, there are some terrible cops out there and take away innocent lives. You're going to give them immunity? You're going to pass something, or at least put a policy in place to give immunity to all police? I mean, like, listen, I don't really like to play the race card all the time, but like, if you grew up in predominantly black neighborhoods, there are cases of cops getting away with murder. Cops
planting drugs on people,
like doing some bullshit to the black community. Like, I've seen and this is from my personal experience, I have seen friends and family members get beat up by the police, get unfairly treated by the police. And you're telling me that they deserve immunity? Why would you even want to put something like that in place? So when I heard that interview of like, they're saying, yeah, we already talked with Trump, we're going to get, these policies in place. I was like, first of all, man, the government is so fucking corrupt, bro. It's so corrupt. And they kind of always want to preach, we for the people. But then you do some backdoor shit like that. It's like, how can we the people even trust the government?
Right.
How can we trust them? Which is why I always preach for less government involved in our lives and involved in the city, because We already don't trust you. Now I don't want you involved so much into our daily lives and our decision making, and especially how we parent our kids.
Mm-hmm. The parenting is another big thing because they're really dividing dividing the family. But one thing, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they were saying, in certain countries the roads are nice,
Yeah.
the highways are clean, no potholes, no nothing, no trash flying around in the air. One guy was telling me, he said he was in Japan and he went on a cruise, like not a cruise, but on a motorcycle riding around and stuff. He's like, yo, there was not one pothole and he drove over 100 miles. And he's saying that how can a country that was nuked, literally 2 nukes dropped in Japan, have such beautiful roads, maintained roads. And then you look at the United States, the richest, most powerful country in the world. We're running around with potholes, craziness, and he boiled it down to say, look, people here don't hold the politicians accountable.
Oh my God, say that again.
People here in America do not hold the politicians accountable, right? We just say, oh, yeah, more taxes. Just tell, oh, yeah, taxes. No, you raising taxes, but the streets are still bad. Garbage is still all over the place. Air quality is still bad. And this whole, and I'm going on a micro rant right now, but this whole climate change thing, you guys are bitching about climate change, right? But look at the environment that you live in. Look at the shit that you're doing. You're not voting for certain things to be in place that makes sense for the climate. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very backwards, and they try to say, oh yeah, we're gonna green energy and this and that, and this is not about the fucking energy. It's not about that. We need people to drill and coal. We need that. We still need that. We can't just rely only on the damn sun. It's impossible. You can't do that. But there's so many other things that we can work on, fixing the roads, making sure our water is clean. You got states that don't even have clean water. Like, you know what I mean? Like what does that have to make sure the rivers and stuff is clean? You know what I'm saying? It's not just about, buy electric cars and everybody just don't use the plants are still using diesel fuel. They're still using coal and natural gas. They're still using that stuff. So it's like, you can't focus only on that. All right?
Yeah.
You have to understand the government is trying to force you to buy something that is more expensive. All right? We know solar panels are hella expensive. Can everybody afford it? No.
Nope.
And I didn't forget about this dude. I almost said a word, but I didn't forget about this dude. Eric Adams is pushing the policy to make all new apartments have AC units in them. And then existing apartments be mandated to have an AC in every room.
Whoa.
So how is that going to affect the renting market? Ooh. So you're telling me the landlords now got to go out, buy an AC, and it's going to be some window-mounted AC. Right? It ain't gonna be central air because them buildings that was made in the 1900s ain't gonna have central air, and they sure as hell ain't gonna go retrofit their whole building. Yeah. They not gonna do that. So wait, now the ACs are gonna be on the responsibility of the landlord?
Bro, you see what I be saying, bro? And see, this is the thing. To go back to your point of how the voters not holding the politicians accountable. That's why I hate these two political parties, and I think everybody should just be in the middle. It's like, listen, I'm going to hear each candidate and see what policies they have in place, and the voters should be like, if you want our vote, this is a list of things that we want passed. If you're not looking to put these policies in place or anything that's beneficial to us, you're not getting our vote. That's why I think everybody should just be able to basically vote independently and see who is best for that state. Because there are certain states like New York, bro, it don't matter who the hell is running Democrat. They got their vote. because New York is such a democratic machine, and there's other states like maybe like Texas or something that just no matter who's the Republican nominee, they're going to vote for them. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, when there's certain states like that, for instance, Kamala Harris, you think she's going to visit New York? She already know.
She already know. New
New York's going to vote blue no matter what.
Eric Adams is backing her, so it's a wrap.
Exactly. So New York is going to vote blue no matter what. So there's really no incentive for them to really put policy in place,
effort or anything.
Yeah, for the voter, because like, well, we know we got your vote. So that's why that's why sometimes I'll be like, listen, people can vote for Trump all they want in New York.
It really should be like every election is a toss up for all 50 states.
It should be.
You know what I mean? Like
it should be.
Because now they always talk about the swing states or these are the states that change. Like every state should be a swing state.
Every state should be.
You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be productive. And the craziest part about New York in particular is outside of NYC, it's all Republican. That to me just blows my mind.
Staten Island.
It's like
Staten Island is kind of separate. People kind of forget that part.
Long Island's
Republican.
Definitely Republican. And then you go Buffalo, Albany, St. Lawrence. Like those are Utica, New York, Republican. Even when you go and visit them people and talk to them, you're like, oh yeah, I'm from the city. Like they're like, oh, you one of them. You know what I mean? They look at you sideways with that. But it's like, if you guys keep voting the same way, you're just gonna keep getting the same thing, and that's the thing that's frustrating with New Yorkers. I'm not saying I want to see the state turn red or whatever, or green or blue, but it's just like, stop voting for the same bullshit. Like it's like you're tired of the bullshit here, but you keep voting for the same bullshit. It's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense.
New Yorkers love to complain. Taxes are high. Rent is high. I see a lot of New Yorkers complain about the migrants coming in. They're spending millions of dollars. It might be billions of dollars. I forgot the number I heard because Eric Adams did an interview the other day. Yeah. And they were grilling him.
This clown, man.
They were grilling him. He's spending millions upon millions, billions of dollars just on the migrants alone. And people are like, well, why is that same funding going towards Americans? Oh, people that's in New York City who are homeless, who actually need shelter, who needs food. It's like you're putting the migrants priority over like local New Yorkers. Mm-hmm. And New Yorkers all this stuff is not being talked about as much because, the election is coming up. But there are still people saying they're getting robbed by the migrants, murdered by the migrants. There's a lot of stuff that's still going on locally that we're not paying as much attention to because, Kamala versus Trump, that still needs to be answered for. And Eric Adams is like, it's like, bro, you still don't got a handle on this crime shit. And he's a former police officer. So it's like
he's got his hands tied. He can't disobey his NYPD folks.
And yeah, he actually acknowledged there are not as much people joining the force or coming out the academy. Why would people want to even be a police officer if you're talking about the funding the police and basically not even really offering any type of protection for them? Because a lot of police officers, they feel like they're just going to be disrespected. And there are a lot of good police officers out there. We actually need more police. Crime is so bad. You think a place like Chicago don't need police? Mm-hmm. You don't think New York need police? It's a crime zone out here. And watch that interview. There's a migrant who got arrested so many times and still here. I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh. Watch that Eric
And that's
Adams
the
interview.
thing. If a migrant gets arrested, they should be sent back automatically. Ain't no, oh, you get another chance. Oh, and under this law, another. No, you just got arrested. First of all, you're here illegally. But wait, hold on. Let me pause right here. If you come into America illegally, mm-hmm, does that make you a criminal?
Technically, yes. I mean, it should.
Yes, it's a crime. It's illegal.
But
you shouldn't be here.
If you come to New York, it's a sanctuary state.
Yo.
They can't do nothing.
Yo, Kamala Harris said, because you come in the country illegally doesn't make you a criminal. She said that. And I'm like, what?
See, that's my thing.
And she's a former prosecutor. So she charges these criminals with crimes for breaking the damn law. So if you come into the United States illegally, you are a criminal. You created a crime. You're inside of a country that you're not supposed to be in. We have a process to come in here legally. So you come in here illegally, you create an illegal crime, but you're allowed to stay.
And get money and food stamps and all that shit.
How does that make sense? And then you got the homeless guy down the street. He go rob the store or he go rob somebody to get some money. And he goes to jail. How does that, like, I just don't... Look, I'm not saying I'm against whatever, immigrants or whatever. People can come in from other countries, but come in the right way. That you guys hear it all the time. Come in the right way. There's nothing wrong with coming in the right way. Mm-hmm. Okay?
And I also saw in the news that Illinois, the governor, is granting driver's license to undocumented immigrants. So I'm like, hold the fuck up now. You could come into this country undocumented and get a driver's license?
How does that even make sense?
I don't know how the fuck that makes sense, bro. So now I'm just like, bro, y'all just doing so much. And again, if you come in here legally, that's fine. If you come in here legally and there's a process to help them, cool. But that's why, they're also, I believe, Agenda 47, one of Trump's policies is like, get rid of sanctuary states like New York, right? Uh-huh. Because they're protecting migrants that come over here illegally. Mm-hmm. It's like you're literally protecting criminals. Because Eric Adams did say like it's nothing he could do about it. It's nothing he could do about it.
How does this affect you?
How does this affect me? Let me tell you how this affect me.
Does that affect you?
It does. There's people out there there's women who reported getting raped from this from those criminals. There's people who out here getting robbed, shit stolen from. When you protect them, the criminals, bro, there's some criminals coming in here.
Stores getting robbed too.
Stores getting robbed. Yeah. When you protect them and they come to New York knowing like, oh, they can't do nothing with me. What does that create, bro? What does that create? And then you got some other states giving them driver's licenses.
Wow.
Driver's license. And what was the thing that the right used to always say? Oh, they having all these migrants come in to vote for them.
I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
To vote for them, right? But everybody was like, no, you need some form of identification to when you're going to the polls. What is a driver's license?
It's identification. It shows, hey, you're legal. Like you obviously qualified to be a U.S. citizen if you have a state ID. Like I don't know.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, undocumented migrant gets a driver's license. Are they going to be allowed to vote at the polls now?
Look, it's funny you say that because the Alabama Secretary of State discovered thousands of non-citizens registered to vote in November's election.
That's so crazy.
So they found, the Secretary of State found 3,251 non-citizens registered to vote, and 742 of them are not from Alabama. So let's just think about this. This is what they found now. How many? It was 70, 79 days until the election?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
All right, we have 79 days until the election, and they're just now finding, right? They're just now finding non-citizens registered to vote in our upcoming election. Who is pushing all of these migrants to come inside of the United States? I'll leave that up to you. I'll leave that up to you to answer.
Leave
But
that
if
up
you
to
can
them.
think this is Alabama and we know Alabama is a red state. Off the rip.
Off rip.
Off rip.
Super red.
And this and this is a red state. Imagine the blue states. Imagine the blue states. Imagine the swing states.
Oh my God. Bro, and see, that's the thing too, bro.
Hey, it's just, look, it sounds very fishy. And sometimes I'm thinking, Kamala just might win because of this. She just might win because of that.
Yo, I'm not gonna hold you. This is gonna be a close election, bro. She has a real solid chance to win.
I feel like, even though I said what I just said, I feel like Trump is going to win the popular vote but lose electorals. If that's how it goes.
I think that's how it goes, bro. Like, because if it was just Biden, it would have been blown out the water.
Oh, yeah. If it was just Biden, he would definitely win 100%. But with this Kamala honeymoon phase and the migrants coming in and all of that, I think all those percentages of undecided voters are going to go to Dems, to Democrats. And it's sad to say, I mean, again, I'm not voting, but it's just, how can we run a country like that where we're fudging numbers and qualifying people to vote when they're not even a citizen? Like,
yeah,
how does that even work?
I don't know how that even works. Like, what? Like, people who don't pay taxes, undocumented, could get a say on like who's ruling the country.
That's like me going to Mexico and voting for their mayor. Like,
For
I don't
real?
even live here. I don't pay taxes. I'm just on vacation, bro. Like,
That's
I don't
me.
know.
That's me going to somebody else's house and telling them, yo, I have a say in what the hell you serving for dinner tonight. I'm going to walk in this bitch and tell your wife, yo, this is what I want for them because I'm just a...
I'm here. Yeah. I'm here. Like, I'm in the house.
Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. So, yeah, shit, we went on a rant. What the fuck we was talking about before?
Shit, I don't even remember. But no, I mean, we were bashing the Republicans this time, but I got a couple of things to say about JD Vance. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the guy. I don't like him. I feel like he was not a Trump supporter in the beginning.
He wasn't. There's videos of him.
And then all of a sudden became a Trump supporter. I don't like that. It's like,
I don't like that either.
How is that even reasonable? Like, how can that even be? Like, I understand people change their minds, but usually in the political realm, if they're like on the Democratic side, they don't switch to the Republican side, and then boom, they're running for they're a VP, candidate. Like that to me is fishy. Okay.
I hear what you're saying. And I said this privately, just like to my friend group of like, I think Trump chose the wrong VP candidate. Not saying JD Vance can't do the job. Because, I do think he goes on some of these networks and kind of like schools some of these like these Dems on like CNN and MSNBC. Like, he's very articulate and I think he's likable, but you're right. When this footage pulled up of him bashing Trump, and it's known that you don't like Trump, look, like you said, people could change their minds, but to me, it's just like you're only riding with Trump just because you have a guaranteed seat to be in the White House. So it's like, is it really authentic? I think Trump made a mistake there, picking Vance. There were so many other people could have picked. I would have loved for him to choose Vivek.
Yeah, Vivek or DeSantis.
Yeah,
I would say those two guys would have been like good picks. And if he wanted to go the route, with a female,
he could have done that too.
He could have done that too. But I think Vivek and Ron DeSantis were two good choices. Even though him and Ron DeSantis had their little squabbles, it's not like DeSantis was a Democrat and then he turned a Republican and then they had a squabble, and then he became VP.
Yeah, and
you know what I
that's
mean?
normal because shit, Kamala Harris even talked against Biden back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she was trying to run and win, but she wasn't ready, obviously, because she dropped out early because she ran out of money. Why? Because nobody was supporting the shit that she was saying, but all of a sudden everybody's supporting the shit that she's saying because she's a flip-flopper and tax her tips. Obviously, we heard this from somebody else. Now she's taking it from them. But, you know, that's my thing. Vivek, I watched an interview. He was on the Breakfast Club, and he was saying, he was like, yo, take ownership of what you are. Like, if you're Indian, then say you're Indian.
Yeah, I respected that.
You know what I mean? You got to respect that. So if you practice Hinduism, practice that. He came out and he said he practiced that. He does. That's his religion. That's what he is. And he was being truthful. And he had supporters, right? Kamala is playing the, okay, what is a general population like? Okay, well, I can't run around and say I'm Indian because they may feel like I'm not really American. Let me just say I'm black. Or, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Just be 100%, stick to your beliefs so people can identify with you better.
That's all.
You know what I mean? That's it. That's it, yo.
And then, you know, on that same interview, Vivek was like, you know, a lot of politicians would change their religious beliefs or change their last name so they could, I guess, relate more to American people and be like, hey, vote for me. Quote unquote American. But Vivek is like, listen, I am American, but, you know, I am practicing Hinduism. He's that religion is very dear to him, which is fine. And, you know, his last name is Ramaswamy. I do have trouble.
Ramaswamy.
And he did say, you know, it's hard for people to pronounce it. But he's like, you know, but this is just who I am. And when I get into the seat, he wants to be solely on who he is.
And you see, now that's something I can respect. To say, okay, now you're the first Indian American president. Like, okay, that's cool. That's fine. But at least you owned it. You know what I mean? Now, wouldn't that bring more pride to your people to say, yo, he practices Hinduism and he kept the same last name. We already know what he's about and he still won. Like, that's more transparency. And for Kamala to not have that type of transparency is kind of like, dude, like, just
it's soft.
Yeah, just be real. Like,
Just
nobody, if this is a country of the free, then be real with your identity. Don't try to like
flip
flop and today you Indian, tomorrow you black. You got make the stand. Where your Indian dancers and all of that. Why Bollywood didn't pop out for you?
With great
they
question.
got a big the Indian population is huge. They got a whole big market. Why didn't no Bollywood actors go to your DNC speech or your conference or your rallies or whatever to dance on the stage and, you know, they play their music and all that? Why they didn't do that? You ran and got the black people to go and do it though. You see what I'm saying?
Bro, watch this fucking DNC.
Like, how you got the black people to go on the stage and dance and spin around and shake ass and twerk? What about the Indian people? Why they didn't come on the stage and start dancing and spinning around? Embrace both your culture, right? Is your culture, right?
What Vic was
you
saying.
talk about so much about your mom and this, that, and the third. She basically raised you because your parents were divorced. Why you ain't bring some Bollywood actors on there and say, you vote for Kamala? You know what I mean? Like, no, you didn't. So it's like,
embrace who you are.
She has no identity.
The thing with Vivek too, back to him, I think he's playing a long game. And I think what he's doing is smart. Like, look, a lot of people knew in the Republican primaries, I think they knew they were going to win. Trump was just the overwhelming favorite. So people was like, look, we want Trump to run again. And I think he ran, not saying he didn't want to win, but he was like, let me get my name out here so people know who he is. He's still doing interviews, bro. He's doing in every interview. I'm not going to hold you. He's becoming more and more likable. He's more like in a center. He's even spoke out against some of the policies that Trump. He's like, look, I don't agree with everything he's saying, but there's 2 or 3 of them that I agree with, which is why he's going to vote for him. And I think when the next election comes and like when it's time to run, he'll have like more esteem and a lot of people will like him, and he might win that seat. So I think he's playing the long game. He's getting in front of the camera as much as he can. He got a YouTube channel, still doing shit with Breakfast Club. He had an interview with MSNBC. Like, he's still out here. So, shout out to Vivek, man. I think he's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard some of the stuff that he was saying, I have a friend that didn't like him because he was like, oh, another rich billionaire, blah blah blah, running, and I guess he didn't really like see an Indian person being president. I'm like, bro, look past that, because this person, I'm not gonna call any names, but they're like very tunnel vision. Oh, you have to look like a president, or like,
what the hell does that even mean?
Like, exactly, what does that mean? Because if you look at the past presidents, with the exception of Obama, they've all been white, right? And they've been older men, like, and that type of.
Yeah, Obama was young when he.
Yeah, he was young, but it's like they're like that old looking. They have that face that either they were a lawyer or a senator or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, Vivek doesn't fit that.
He's young, but he's not even 40.
Yeah, he's not even 40. But it's like, I'm like, bro, if the man is talking some real shit, right, and he has the capital to run, who gives a fuck what he looks like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got good policies. He's got good beliefs, and he understands who he is and his identity. Like, let this, give this guy a chance. But, they didn't want to, Biden, blah, blah, blah. At the time, the person's a Biden voter. And I don't know if they still are today, or most likely they're probably a Kamala person, but, you know, it's just fucking sad, man. It's just fucking sad.
But, yeah, he's playing a long game, and we'll see 4 or 5 years on how, the public feels about him. But I think he's doing all right.
My last question. If Kamala Harris wins, right? Because if we know that if Trump wins, he can't run again. He's done.
Yeah, he's done.
He's done his 8 years. Do you think if Kamala wins, she gets the presidency, do you think she'll run again?
No, because this is her best shot. This is literally her best. She didn't have to go through primaries. She was gifted the fucking seat, bro. Again, the media's protecting her. Biden dropped out at the right time when everybody's in the honeymoon phase. I think she may be leading right now by like about 1%. So this is a time for her to get that presidency. If she don't get it now, how's she going to get in the future? Not saying she probably won't run again, because Biden had ran a couple of times before he.
Wait, he ran during when Obama was running? No,
before that. He lost before. I don't even know if he ran when Obama was running. I would say no, but he ran for president a couple of times and lost.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, but if you don't get it now when it's been handed to you, how the fuck you gonna win in the future?
Because think about it. She got cut in the last election. And then this one, by the skin of her teeth, because Biden didn't want to drop, allegedly, but he was pressured to drop. It was handed to you. The vice presidency was handed to you because you were picked, because Biden said, I wanted a female vice president because he wanted to make history. So everything was given to you. I don't think she's even gonna think about running if she were to win again. Like, if she were to win this election period, I don't think she would try to run for re-election.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. She probably gonna be like, you know what? I had enough of this. I made my history. I'm out of here. There's no way. Like, she was not likable. It's not like she was a likable person when she was trying to run. She dropped out.
This is the time for her to win, bro. If she don't win now,
she's not gonna win ever.
This is it. This is literally it. Come on, and I think she knows.
She knows that.
She
bro.
knows. Maybe that's another reason why they ain't getting in front of the camera, because it's like, don't say some shit that's gonna fuck up the momentum we having right now.
Yo,
like this is it.
They know.
This is it. This is really it for her. So let's see if she's able to capitalize from this opportunity. You're literally just, giving this seat, and let's see if she wins, man.
Right place, right time, I guess.
Literally, right place, right time. We talked about that before, on like how I thought if Biden wins, he'll just be there for a year, and then the rest of the term they'll just let Kamala just handle it.
You probably said, "Yeah, I'm not fit to run anymore," and boom, she'll inherit it and be the first female vice.
But
president.
I knew this was the play all along. I just think it was going to happen now. I knew this was the play all along. But maybe after the first debate, it was like, shit, we might not even get it.
We ain't even gonna get it.
Yeah, we're not even gonna
They're estimating 3 months. Yeah, we're not gonna make it.
So we need to get her in the seat now. We need to, speed this process up. But yeah, man. So like now, if Trump loses, what do you think Trump going to do now?
If Trump loses, I think his backup plan is to get the states in order, meaning certain. I did notice that he was campaigning in certain states that he knows he's gonna win, like that he has a lock on.
Mm-hmm.
But he was campaigning with their governors and their mayors and endorsing them. So like the mayors of those states, he's endorsing, vote for this guy, vote for that mayor, whatever. And I think he's trying to strategically place, those senators or governors in place to kind of carry his ideal for that state if he doesn't win the presidency. You know what I'm saying? So all them red states, he's probably like, yeah, vote this guy in because his ideals align with mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going around trying to do that in the event that he loses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it makes sense. You got this popularity. We talk about momentum. You have this momentum, and you're a Republican or you identify as a Republican. You go to the Republican states, and when they're having their elections or whatever, vote. You endorse the guy that you want to win or you want to be there. So I think that's what he's doing, and it's not a bad plan. But look, I don't live in a Republican state.
Yeah.
So, Trump only came here in the Bronx, which he did, and you got to respect him for coming regardless of where in the Bronx it was located, but he came, unlike some people.
But yeah, man, this is gonna be interesting, bro. I cannot wait for the debate. And now I think the VP debate is scheduled. I know Vance said he wants to try to do 2, which I respect. It's like, bro, listen, he's trying to be out there. I'll give him that. He is trying to be in front of the camera talking to American people as much as he can. Because I think historically, the VPs want to get 1 debate?
I don't even know. Actually, to be honest, I don't think I've ever watched one of them. Or maybe I've seen a clip, but like...
Yeah, like nobody watches them as much as they do the presidential debate. But if he could pull off 2, I'm like, all right, bro. Like, now you really talking. But we'll see.
It's going to be an interesting one. And this is a long-ass segment, but... This election is going to be really interesting, and don't be surprised if you hear about voter fraud and all that other crap. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. But
election scam, you're going to hear all that.
Election scam, stolen, this, that, and the third. But hey, tune in to the DNC. You said it's tomorrow, DNC.
Yeah, it's from Monday to Thursday, I saw.
Tune in to that. Watch it, people. Watch it. Like, now's the time to be heavily invested into the political realm. All right,
Yeah,
catch
we got
up
a
on
lot
your
to say
shit.
next week.
Figure out who you're gonna vote for, if you're gonna vote or not vote. Figure that shit out. All right. You got anything else to add?
That's it. Next episode, we'll talk about the DNC.
Yeah. So the next time we post or something, you guys will see our reaction based on the DNC. I'm definitely gonna be watching.
Mm-hmm.
We even talk about Trump and Elon, but
We can leave that.
I'm sure you guys saw that. It was like 20 million or 30 million or a billion people watching. I don't even know. But watch that. Again, watch both sides. If you're undecided, watch both sides. If you are decided, watch both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I got to say. I mean, like, subscribe, comment, check out the shorts, comment on the shorts. Let us know what you think. But again, we don't give a fuck about your feelings. But yeah, I'm Rich. I'm signing out.
D signing out.
See you guys in the next one. Deuces.
Later, y'all.